I used to suffer from extreme social anxiety. I remember I would be walking down the road like normal people do. Normal people just walk down the road and they just forget everything, right? They kind of go on autopilot. It was not for me. I never went on autopilot when I was walking by myself. I always had this self-conscious thought, oh, who's looking at me? Who's spotting me? I'll be so afraid of running into anyone I know because I'll be so self-conscious and socially awkward. I would just turn my head round and around on the street. I would be walking so fast. My heart would be like palpitating, bro. Like it's the craziest thing. Then the worst time I ever remembered was when I went to church on Sunday. And for me, I'm quite a religious person, right? I would go to church on Sundays. And you know how there's like this religious hymn that you sing at the start of every church session? You kind of just stand up and you kind of just sing with other people. I used to be like so stressed when I stand up. Not because I have to sing or anything, that's fine. It's about where to put my hands. I was that socially awkward. I remember thinking, should I put my hands in front of my body? Should I put it behind my back? I'd be looking at other people, oh, he's putting it in his pocket. Oh, maybe you should put it in my pockets as well. It got to a point where I remember I had to ask my friends, yo, do you have any suggestions about what's the most confident way to place your hands? Like, I was so down bad. It was really, really terrible. I think it really took a toll on my mental state. And today I really want to talk about literally the 3 things that I've read from How to Win Friends and Influence People, also literally implemented in my life as well. I don't want to be like other YouTubers saying like, oh, just stay off social media, right? Like stop looking at your image and being like sad about it. Nah, that's stupid, man. That's not how you actually get more socially confident. I think the 3 things I teach you today is literally the most simple, basic, but down-to-earth strategies to interact with normal people around you, because we are normal people, you know? We don't need these like, oh, no social media, whatever tactics. We're going down to earth today. And the first one I'm gonna talk about, you're probably gonna laugh at this, is literally just smile, man. Think about yourself. When you walk down the street, do you care to smile at other people? Do you smile? I definitely knew that I didn't. Had this straight face, was anxious as hell, right? Walking down the street with my headphones on, just looking at the ground because I couldn't be bothered to I'd be so scared to look at people. But you know what? That's actually the wrong way to approach social confidence. Because the main thing is that we feel excluded, right? Because we don't interact with other people, we automatically, our minds think that we are excluded. We see this many people, our eyes tell our minds, okay, there's this many people on the road. But since we don't interact with them, our minds thinks that, oh, the other people don't like me. It's hostile. And that's the power of a smile. It literally, if you smile at another person and they see you smile, it literally tells them, yo, I'm glad to see you. You're such a cool person. I really want to talk to you. And sometimes they might even smile back. Like that's the most rewarding thing that I found. Literally now, when I walk down the road, I'll be smiling at people because sometimes they smile back and it feels absolutely amazing. Like you might get, like some people might not look at you, but you don't lose anything from it. You tell your mind, really, yo, I'm part of the gang, I'm part of the group, I'm part of the tribe, and I deserve to receive smiles from other people. That's really the first change of mindset that I think is super, super important. Number 2, and this I think is really, really tough for most people. It was definitely really, really tough for me to implement. It was about facing rejection. I think a lot of the times, especially in the UK, right? If you live in the UK, you can probably relate. There's a very clear social hierarchy in the UK, right? You are either like rich upper class or like you kind of like well-off middle class or like lower middle class even. There's like the lower class, right? And the thing, how it works is that people would think that they're not capable of walking into certain stores, like really high brand jewelry stores or whatever, because they don't have like the wealth to afford the things inside. It's literally like there's such a wealth gap in the UK. And I remember I used to be such a person who's subjected this kind of wealth gap. I'll be like, oh, bro, I can't walk into that jewelry store. I can't like actually go into that store that sells like expensive makeup because, you know, I don't have like tons of cash in my wallet. But I was like, one day I was like, no, that's not how it works. I'm gonna afford that one day. I'm literally gonna tell myself, yo, we're gonna have this change of mindset, a positive mindset. We're gonna afford that one day. It doesn't matter if I can afford it now or afford it 10 years in the future. I'm gonna be able to afford that one day. And literally like implementing this mindset, I walked into this like jewelry store. I used to be so scared of walking into actual jewelry stores, right? Like I wouldn't stay for like 5 seconds. I remember like my face was heating up. It was all red and stuff. I was trembling when I walked in. Like I genuinely felt like I was gonna get like shouted out. I'm gonna like people are gonna tell me to get out of the store or something. The lady at the front desk asked me, yo, would you want to look at? It was like an antique place as well. It's probably things that worth up to like hundreds of pounds, right? I had no credit card on me. I literally have no money. I was just like, I'm just gonna walk in. We're gonna see what happens. And I didn't go for anything, bro. I wanted to change my mindset. It could have been, I could have asked for some antique cup that was worth like 20 pounds, right? No, I said, no way. We're gonna go for the toughest thing here. We're gonna go for the most expensive thing. I literally asked him, could you show me your gold watch collection? Like that minute, bro. It was honestly, like the lady was kind of shocked. I literally, like, she brought me the watch, yeah. I didn't even know how to put on the watch. It was the most embarrassing thing ever. But you genuinely, once you got that on, once you prove to yourself, hey, I can actually like deal with rejection. I can deal with this like voice in my mind. It's not rejection of actual people. People don't actually reject you in real life. People are more or less embracing. But what is rejecting you from doing these kind of things is that little voice in your mind. And I hope this story really helps you, because I walked out that store, I was like hyped. I was so hyped because that just changed my mindset forever. I literally managed to defeat the classist system in the UK with one move, with one thing I did. And the third thing is probably more like a tip, more like something that I would say that is completely obvious but is never implemented. You see, I remember when I used to like go to some kind of takeaway store, you know, when you order takeaway, then you kind of stand beside the counter, right? Because the waitress is gonna bring you the food. I remember like once I ordered the takeaway, I would just be standing there like, it's so awkward, right? I was just standing there and just watching the people cook my food actually. Then I would be like taking out my phone, right? Like scrolling on Instagram posts, just randomly. My eyes would be darting here and there. I'd be scared as hell, not actually consuming any of the content. And that was so bad for my mental health. Like I used to like wish the waiter would hurry up and just give me my food so I could just like leave, you know? Because that feeling of having nothing to do is like the most detrimental thing to your mental health. But like, you know, I took a step forward. I said, hey, why don't we actually try to fix this thing? And How to Win Friends and Influence People, it placed a lot of emphasis on conversation. So remember, I literally tried to like have conversations with people I did not know. Like some people, sure, they would say like, I would say, hey, how you doing? They'd be like, I'm good. That's it, right? Like that's the most awkward thing. Like, like if you face that on your first experience, it's really tough, right? But I just went through hundreds of times. I literally just like, ordered the food, I'd be like, hey, how you doing? Like sometimes like the words would slip out of my mouth like way too early, right? Like, thanks for your order. Hey, how you doing? Like it would be so awkward. But definitely, it's so important to have like these small talk abilities to be able to hold like conversations with like what you call like normal people, because there are people as well, right? They don't want to be working like 24/7. And that's such a big takeaway, just having genuine conversations, just trying to get to know people. Because you got to improve your social skills, man. It's so important for daily life. And these 3 tips completely like changed my social landscape. I can't lie, like I literally would not care if I'm walking down the street right now. I can turn into like the most expensive store knowing that I can probably not like buy anything, but I'm just gonna walk in because I know I deserve it. And that's very important. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Love you so much. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.